I play the harp. I tell stories with music, with the harp or without the harp. And I want to talk to you today about this new musical that I have just released. And I want to tell you why. Why would somebody who plays the harp and sings and has freedom doing that and is the Grammy nomination from that, has gotten an opportunity to travel around the world doing that? Why would somebody like that, me, uh, create something complete that seems to be completely different? And I'm going to be coming on as many times as I can onto these live platforms in the next 4 days because I'm fundraising for this project. And what this project is it is a film of a musical that we produced in New York City last year and then spent the last year editing and creating into a film. And it is a kind of a psychological story, but it's told from the standpoint of some pretty whimsical characters. And if you know me as a harpist, you might look at this show, which I'll show you a couple of images of in a minute. You might look at this show and say, well, wait a second, why are you not in this show? Well, I am a storyteller. And there are certain stories that I've been trying to tell for many, many years. There's stories that I tell in a single moment. And if you've seen my TEDx talk, you've seen me tell a story spontaneously wearing my instrument. But there are other stories that have been in my heart forever. And I have it that every single person has something that's in their heart that's been there forever, and a story that they're trying to tell or something that you're trying to express, something that others may not think of as you, but that you know is more you than anything you've ever done. And for me, being able to tell the story of the golden cage, being able to tell the story of the golden cage is actually me being able to tell the story of my whole life. Because I first came to this story when I was about 19 and I was sitting at my piano and I was thinking, because I didn't play the harp then, I was thinking, is my life going to be about freedom or is it going to be about security? Not an unusual question for a 19-year-old, I think, but it became two characters immediately who were locked in mortal combat. It became a musical. They were singing to each other. And you know what? And it was, I want to ask you just a practical question in a second, but I just want to say, these came out of my head as A and B, who were having this conversation about, here I am in this golden cage, growing thin, growing pale. There you are on the outside looking in. And the other one sings back, here I am at your palace gate in a state of despair. There you are on the inside looking out. So I think every one of us has had this, I don't know, maybe not, has had this experience that there's two parts of your life, or there's two sides of your life that you're thinking about, and they come and they're literally in conversation. So in this case, they literally were in conversation. And I'm just going to sing. So one sings, here I am in my golden cage, growing thin, growing pale. There you are on the outside looking in. The other one sings, here I am at your palace gate in a state of despair. There you are on the inside looking out. There on the inside, outside, they're singing to each other. Where you stand, all that glitters in your hand. So each of them are on the opposite sides of a cage, like we are sometimes in our lives, looking at one side of a question, looking at the other side of the question. What I didn't realize at the time was that I was looking at my own life at the beginning of my life and thinking, not just am I going to have a life of freedom or security. But what is that going to look like? Because I think absolutely each one of us is looking for both freedom and security in our lives. So for me, this became a musical, a way to express the feeling about it. I can sit here and say, "Oh, I'm looking for freedom and I'm looking for security in my life." Well, hello, freedom. You know what? Or like freedom's over here. I don't know. Freedom's over here. This is security. I don't know why, but it is. Hello, freedom. I'm scared of you, and like, hello, security, you're stuck. So that conversation, talking about it, is completely different from being able to be able to express it. And so for me, being able to sing, there on the outside where you stand, all that glitters in your hand, is completely different than being able to say, "Oh, well, there you are. Wow, gee, I want everything you have." So to be able to express ourselves is so obviously is so important. But what I did in this musical was to be able to go in and like look at those two sides of me. I would look at the side of me that feels stuck and look at the side of me that feels free but lost. I had a friend ask me about this musical, like, where were these characters at the beginning of the show? And he said, "I want 2 words." And it took me like days to figure this out. And I realized that where they are is one of the characters is alone and the other one is lost. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way, but feeling lost and alone is a very human experience for me. To talk about it is one thing. To create characters that are playing the part of something that is lost but doesn't want to admit it, and in some ways loves the freedom, but at the same time is searching to belong. Now, I don't know if this is relevant to you. And one of the things about this platform that I'm in and that I'm experimenting with, I know I use this, but I'm what I'm hoping to do over the next couple of days as I'm sharing about fundraising for this show is to get more comfortable with this particular way of sharing on social media. So what's really cool about this particular interface is that wherever you are, you should be able to chat with me. Maybe not on YouTube. It goes to a bunch of different streams. And I'm going to be talking about all the different aspects of the show. I'm going to be showing you some of the different fundraising perks because we're at the end of this fundraising thing. Now, this whole project has cost about $100,000. I need to raise the last 35,000 of it. And I created 2 different ways to do that. One is tax deductible. The other one has all these really fun perks. So one of the things I wanted to do here this morning is share some of those perks with you. But I also want to explain or share with you, if you know me as a harp player, why it is that this thing I created, which I think I can actually show you a picture of it. I'm going to actually try to get to the page where you can look at it. Let me grab the link, which means put my glasses on. So why do we sometimes use different modes of self-expression in order to be able to express ourselves? Because that is one of the things that people are confused about when they come and see the show. Okay, so wait a second. They're like, wait a second. Oh, wait, let me just I get the video. Okay, now I've got it up. Okay. I think each of us has a kind of a persona, the way that people think of us. And I've been playing the harp for long enough. Whoops. The show actually began. Just a second. I've been playing the harp for long enough that it's almost as if it was a part of me. But it's only part of my self-expression. So I can sing a song that's like, why would a bird search for a cage? Well, we all search for home and safety. I don't know. I mean, I could sing. I actually wrote out some word this morning, like, why would a bird search for a cage? Well, we all search for safety. The bird is freedom. The cage is home. Basically, that's what this musical is about. The bird is freedom. The cage is home. But what if we get stuck in that home? And what if we get stuck in that freedom so that we're lost? What about that? Did that ever happen to you? Because that's the story of the golden cage. I dream about it when I am a child. The golden cage, the place where everything you've ever dreamt would happen, happens for you. So I could tell you the story. Once upon a time, there was a bird man, a bird person, someone who was half bird and half human, searching for a golden cage. Why? Because as a child, as a little chick, he'd always been told about this golden cage and all of those who had gone to search for it, those who had come back in shame and those who had never come back. And so in his heart, what he wanted more than anything was to prove that this myth of this golden cage where everything would come true, that would be true for him. And so his whole life he searched for this cage. And finally one day he stumbled on it. And it was everything that he ever dreamt about, except for one thing. There's someone trapped inside that cage. A melodramatic diva. And she says that the cage is made out of granite and iron, and that she is a prisoner. She's trapped inside it and she can't get out. And that's the story of the golden cage. That's how the golden cage begins. And it's a story of my life. It's a story of feeling trapped and also feeling completely free, because I had this amazing instrument in which I could completely, fully express myself in some ways, and yet in other ways, I was afraid and I was stuck. And so when you see this, I mean, I think each of us has this experience of being stuck, and also this experience of longing for freedom. And that's what I want to talk about in the next few days. And I want to show you what this is. Okay, and I'm just going to experiment now. This is like my first one. I'm going to keep experimenting. I have a feeling, I don't even know if this interface is working. Like, I don't even know whether you're hearing me. I don't know if you can see me clearly, because this is kind of new. So let me know. I would like to just see if it's working, like if you can chat, if you can say, hey, I see you, or I don't see you, or if you can ask me a question, that would be great. Meanwhile, I am just going to show you what I can. So I am going to show you that this is, let's see if I can do this. Let me pull this out and put this in a new window. Excusez-moi. So I'm going to show you the musical itself. And here it is. All right. So here it is on my YouTube channel. I don't know how much you're seeing. And and I don't know what you're hearing, but I'm going to ask you to tell me, or I'm going to go back and look at this later on. So you will see that I am not in this at all, and yet I am in it in every single way. Um, well, actually, that is me. Not that is not me as an actor, but you're seeing the two sides of me. Like when you look at this, and I'm hoping that you can see this. Okay, great. What you're seeing is the allegory of the two sides of who I am, and I think the two sides of who many of us are. On the left here, and there's no significance to the fact that this is a man and a woman. These two parts can actually be played by anyone. It's a play. This is a film, but it's a play that will be produced all over the world by any theater company, by any two actors who want to put on a show, because it's very easy to produce this show. It's very challenging to perform it, but it's very easy to produce it. So this is the cage. You can see that in this production, it's made out of feathers, and you can see these amazing characters. But what you're seeing here is you're seeing my scared, trapped self on the left, and on the right, in the persona of Boris, you're seeing my free self, the self that could go out on stage and play for, thousands of people with complete freedom, and has this amazing instrument that looks like wings. And this is the story of these of how the connection actually finally happens between these fragmented parts of any of us. I have it that we all have these fragmented parts. Let me see if I can get both of us on here, me and this. So I have it that we all have these fragmented parts of us. The parts that are in a cage, have forgotten who we are, unable to get out of that cage, even though to anybody else, it seems like the cage is made out of absolutely nothing. And then the other part of us, the part that can fly, and yet is longing to be in the comfort and the hominess. I mean, when you look at this, you can see her inside this place that just looks like a living room. It looks like a really comfortable place. And he is on the outside. So that's what this story is about. Let me come back here. And what we've done here is produced it in New York City last year, and then filmed it. And you can see one of the things that's really beautiful about this filming, aside from the fact that these actors are amazing, the costumes are so whimsical and wonderful, is that you get to be closer than the front row. Like literally, right? You get to be on the left, you get to be on the right, you get to be in the front. You get to just see the whole thing, and you get to see it over and over and over again. Another thing that's really wonderful about this is that I know this may not seem that like such a big deal, but actually being able to see the words of a musical can be very helpful, especially one that's been described as Wizard of Oz meets Waiting for Godot, as this one has been. Anyway, it's beautiful. It's got choreography. It's got singing. The actors are amazing. For me, it's in a sense an autobiography, because this is what it's like in my brain. All right, let me pull this out. And oops, no, I wanted to put myself in. Okay, great. So the other thing I want to practice right now is showing you the perks, or the gifts for donating, and pull this up. So this is the final fundraising week. Like I said, there's two different fundraising campaigns going on. I'm just going to show you one of them because it's fun. There's one that's tax deductible, and you can ask me about that. Then there's this one that has an end date of this Thursday, and I want to show you what's cool about it, because this one is the one where you get gifts. And so let's see if I can take you backstage. Let's see if I can take you backstage and share this other one. Let's see. All right. So I'm going to show you the list of gifts, and then I want to show you one in particular because it's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to share this one page here. Not sure what you're actually seeing, but Oh, you're not seeing it at all. All right, let's see if I can control this. Okay, I'm putting this on, and now I'm putting us both on. How can I put us both on? I say, let's see if I can do this, but okay. Oh, whatever. All right, I'll put that on and I'll come back later. So what I want to show you is these are all the gifts, but I want to show you this one in particular, this cage unlocker. What it is a really wonderful journal. This is such a deep, the show is so deep in so many ways. I just really want to get us both on here. Wait, no, cancel that. I seem to be stuck somehow. Okay. So the show is really, it's got a lot of deep themes in it. So you can watch the show and you can be like, oh, that's fun. And you can, and a lot of people identify with it. But I find that when we can actually have some questions that help us engage with it ourselves, that is much more exciting. And so one of the gifts that I created, and every one of the gifts that we have available for fundraising is a gift that gets you deeper into the show. And so this one is called the Cage Unlocker Journal. And I want to share what that journal looks like. I wish I could pull me and it up, but let me see. Let me see what I can do. As I said, I'm learning this technology as we go, which is really fun. Okay, so I'm going to pull up the Golden Cage Journal so you can see it. And this is what it looks like. I wonder if I can get rid of that. Okay. So the Golden Cage Journal, you can see here on the left, you can see Althea, and on the right, you can see Boris. And it's actually excerpted from the diaries of each of these characters. So what you get to do is you get to go into Althea's journal. You can actually see her writing it here. And you can see what she's saying. But then you also get to have a prompt where you can write. So the first question in this journal, and this is a question for everybody, what is a sacred quest? Boris is on a sacred quest. Suddenly this person comes into Althea's life who has a sacred quest, which she doesn't have. And so the question is, have you ever felt that you were on a sacred quest, or you wanted to be on one, or you were pushed into making one? Did you ever have a sacred quest or a secret quest and then forgot what it was? So the real question here is, oh, you're not seeing it. Okay, let's see. Let me put this on there. There it is. I was showing it to you and I wasn't showing it to you. Okay. Here we are. Now we're seeing Althea's journal and you can see her writing in it. And now you're going to get to write in her journal. Okay, so now let's see if I can come back here. It's a good thing I'm going to get to practice this. Ooh, and there's a chat. Oh, it's a chat from me. Okay, well, enough of that. All right, so how do I get both of us here? It's just not working to have both of us on. And it was working before. How about that? No, that's not. Okay, I'll work that out before the next time I'm on. I'm seeing myself, but you're not seeing me. But if let's see, can I, that's it. Okay, well, whatever. Oh, I see, I can do that. I can pull it out. I can put it in. I can take it out. All right, great. So my question to you is, and I'm just going to play while I'm asking this. Have you ever felt that you were on a sacred quest, or did you have a quest? And I love how the quest is at the heart of a question, something that you are searching for in your life, some question that you have. Like I had this question, is my life about security or is my life about freedom? Have you had a sacred quest? And Catherine is saying, oh, Catherine, I'm going to pull up what you said because it's so beautiful, is saying, I love the show. It was brilliant. I totally get the concept of finding the balance between freedom and safety, security. Beautiful. So one of the things that I love about this Cage Unlocker journal is that it goes through all the different themes of the show, or as many of the different themes of the show. And one of the things that I discovered, I mean, yes, I wrote this show And it was so sort of intuitive, that it started as a question, and then I kept exploring that question and kept exploring that question, and that ended up being these two characters. I'm going to admit this, that I talk about the moments in the show with my therapist a lot, because what happens in the show, you can come up with a question like, am I going to have security? Am I going to have freedom? But when you start exploring that, if you make it a life journey to explore that, which is what I just realized in this moment I've done. Sorry, just had this revelation. Yes, that's what I've done. So if you make it a life journey to explore something, there's gonna be moments along that journey in which you're going to be searching, in which you're going to be avoiding, in which you're going to be terrified, in which you're going to be exhilarated, in which you're going to do things that you never thought you were able to do, in which you're going to discover that you cannot do the one thing that you think you should be able to do, and in which, if you're lucky, somebody comes along and helps you or pushes you or reaches in and you reach back. And these have been my experiences in life, but I didn't know how to name them. And one of the things that's so powerful about this show is that it's got these moments that I can say to my therapist, well, right now I'm in that moment when Althea's holding the trumpet and can't actually blow it. Or right now I'm in the moment when I just did something, I just put something into motion. When I'm now Boris and I've just pushed Althea off the cliff, and I just realized I've put something into motion that I never intended. I don't know what the consequences are. I feel guilty. I feel like I've ruined everything. Like, so many times when I felt like that. So many times when I felt like there's a moment in the show when I should get the pictures of these moments because they're so powerful. There's a moment when Boris realizes I ruined everything and now I've trapped myself. I mean, that's like, there should be a name for that because I've felt it so many times. And yet I'm able to point to it and say, that's it. That's the moment that I'm feeling now. Or the moment in the beginning when Althea is just like, today, everything's just the same. So this, I don't know what to say. I mean, I want you to see it because I don't know how else. I don't know how else to say all of this that I've experienced in my life. Yes, I can come here with the harp. I have freedom in the moment. I can play and I can sing. I can do it in the moment. I can feel it in the moment. And there is that momentary expression, and it's what I teach. It's freedom. It's what I teach other people. And yet there's this other areas of expression, and we can the thing that here's, and I need to go in like two minutes, but I will be back. Why am I not just playing this with the harp? Because I created this for others to perform. I'm not going to be here forever. I have many stories I want to tell. This is one of them. And I'll tell this in another Facebook Live. Or I'm actually on a bunch of different places right now. This show is a show for people to perform. And I'll talk more about this another time, but I grew up with these amazing performers who were not getting parts because they didn't fit what they were supposed to look like on the stage. And so when I first started creating this show for others to perform, I wanted to create something that any two great performers could perform, that any size budget company could perform, because it is a story, it is an allegory, it is about life. And because I got to experience something most people never get to experience, which is my mother and my aunt creating these amazing performances for me alone. What it taught me was that there are so many powerful, amazing performers who never have that vehicle for self-expression. And I wanted to create something that shares my heart, but that also allows the expressiveness of amazing people who you never expect to be in these roles. Old, young, doesn't matter the gender, doesn't matter body type, doesn't matter. It's the allegory of life, the allegory of looking for freedom, the allegory of being stuck, and in all its different guises, in all the different ways that it looks. That's what I wanted to create for others to perform. And Catherine is saying, wow, okay, you just said, I'm going to pull this up again because you just said the most beautiful thing you could possibly say to me. And I'm probably going to start crying, which is, it inspires me to write and create myself. Thank you. And Catherine, I actually made a perk, a gift, a different gift in the fundraising specifically for, now I'm like stuttering, specifically for this. It is, I created a specific gift that is it's called Inspiration Breakthrough Workshop. So it is a workshop. It's one of the gifts in the fundraising program. It is a workshop where I take you through my actual process. So in order to get unstuck, there's a bunch of things that I have that I do. One of them is a meditation where I take myself, I'm actually playing the harp as I'm taking myself through a meditation. You don't have to play the harp to go through the meditation. I'm not going to do it right here, but it's all about taking myself on the journey in which I let go of what I call it a carapace. It's what holds me in, that I let it go and allow myself to go to the new place so that I can actually see what I'm creating. So there's this meditation that I created for myself. Then there's a secondary part, which is called Clarify Your Vision. And it's a worksheet that I go through all the time, anytime I'm stuck or anytime I'm creating a new project, where I can actually go into instead of trying to figure it out, I get to go into my sensory experiences of what I'm seeing. It just allows me to unlock the vision. And then finally, I have a revisioning process that I go through that's called Turn the Page, when I allow, because you have a vision, and then as you start working on it, you always get stuck again, and you always get like, I can't, anyway, all those things. So I created a workshop, a 3-hour workshop that is one of the gifts in the fundraising program that is specifically for others to use the tools that I use to be able to actually find that inspiration and take that inspiration and be able to expand it. So you made my morning by being here. I just can't thank you enough for being here and for what you wrote in the chat. I'm gonna leave now, but I'm gonna be back. The easiest thing to do is to just go to Golden Cage. Oh, wait a minute. I'm now, oh, my fingers are now like just touching things. If you forget where to go, you can either come to my website, which is hipharp.com. That's hip as in cool, harp as in the instrument, or you can go to goldencagemusical.com. And I put links in all of the posts that I shared with this. And I hope that I like Catherine, I hope that you'll see the show. And Catherine, in the post, that I shared something where you can actually leave a review, like a sharing what you got out of it. And if you're up for that, that would be really beautiful. I will be back. I am learning how to express myself about this musical and invite you all to be part of it by donating and by, if you're performers, performing it. If you have a theater company, by licensing it to do the production. All of those things. It has all those possibilities. And I will be back. Thank you, Catherine, and everybody else who's been here for this. And I will see you again very soon, because I'm going to be on here several times this weekend and in the next week.